I'm gay.
It's tea time outside, so come on, gather round. We got this video for you.
All right. Now that we finally got canceled out of the way, let's talk about Zelda theories for Tears of the Kingdom. I can hear you crunching on that. That's hilarious. These mics are
I was
amazing.
hoping that you would not.
This is a
$60 mics
podcast
are
with
amazing.
Optional ASMR elements. It's not optional. I'm not editing them out.
All right.
Not even sure how you would, honestly.
No, I can't.
He's a god editor.
I could just like turn your screen off anytime you crunch.
All right. So let's get on track with Zelda theory.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder what it would sound like if I just ate a bag of Pop-Rocks right now.
So, Mike, since you haven't played much of Breath of the Wild, we're going to fix that. And since you haven't looked into Tears of the Kingdom much, you will be our reaction guy for this, okay?
Okay.
I will bring a theory to the table, and he will bring a theory to the table. And we want your reaction to this. So, with that said, my theory is about Ganondorf and a certain cutscene from Breath of the Wild that when I first watched it, I was like, huh, that's odd. Why does the hero look that way? And now, seeing the new trailer and what Ganondorf looks like, I'm just like, huh, what the hell?
And you're referring to the tapestry.
Yes. So there's a Impa cutscene in Breath of the Wild that I've queued up for you,
put it on
Mike. Go ahead and put it on screen here, and then Mike, if you'd like to come over here, the princess and the hero. The hero, Mike. That was the hero. That's the hero. Hey, Mike. Here's Ganondorf revitalized. Ganondorf. Mike, Ganondorf.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So the hero from 1,000 years ago just so happens to look exactly like Ganondorf. The fact that they made that be his promotional art for the game, in the same stance as the hero is from 1,000 years ago. My stupid theory is this: the hero from 1,000 years ago,
10,000.
10,000 years ago, is Ganondorf. And the reason why Calamity Ganon, even though it's said that darkness will resurrect itself every 100 years, the reason why they had 10,000 years because of it is because I think Ganondorf isn't inherently evil. He just inherits the demise. So I'm thinking, is this Ganondorf was a good guy, or the hero of the story, found out that he couldn't kill Calamity, or couldn't kill the malice, and decided to take that malice into himself, absorb it, if you will. By doing that, I think that they learned the prophecy, or the prophecy, they know the prophecy of every 100 years, destruction will reign, yada yada yada. They sealed him. They kept him alive in a stasis like how Link was in the first game, or in Breath of the Wild. They kept him in stasis, alive, but not able to wreak havoc. So there was peace. But the seal wore itself down throughout the years.
And became Calamity Ganon for Breath of the Wild.
Allowed the malice to come out, to seep out, like what you see in the trailer, the first trailer we get to see, seep out. So I think Ganondorf just was an innocent guy, was the hero, turned villain. And in the first cutscene we see, in this the new trailer, or the final trailer is what they're calling it, we get to see a big, buff guy with grayish complexion, with long, flowing hair, kind of like Malice, but more dreadlocky. Buff. Big, heavy-set buff. Turn his face, and we get to see, like, this much, and then it fades away to black. And then we see Ganondorf's fades, like, ah! Then we get to see Ganondorf later on. They do not look the same. So what we saw, people are saying what we saw first was demise. Before turning his face to see that, oh, that's not Ganondorf. And they spliced it to make us think it's Ganondorf. So I think this is more of a bring Ganondorf, because they did it with the Joker, tried to make him, like the anti-hero, not the anti-hero, but sad backstory. And I think they're going to do the same thing with Ganondorf. Like, Ganondorf's just not evil. And how fucked up would that be to sit there underneath the castle, what we think is underneath the castle, in a permanent stasis for 10,000 years, still living, but in a coma-like state. That I feel fucking bad for him. And if he wants to set the whole fucking place on fire, sure, burn the fucking kingdom down. If I would want to take vengeance on something like that, if they held me in stasis for thousands of years, because they don't want to bring back the evil.
And
okay, but we don't know everything, and honestly, it sounds more like this who seemed like the original Ganondorf understood what taking upon the malice would have meant, and he had left those instructions. And only then, when they stopped following those instructions over the years, over those tens of thousands of years, it started to leak out. That, to me, makes more sense. Because someone who is that powerful, to hold something for that long, the only way to properly wield power is with knowledge. And if one thing Ganondorf in all forms is known for is more than anything, more than his strength, more than his drive, he
Power baby.
Is knowledgeable.
No, because that's not even his Triforce. Power, knowledge, and
power, wisdom, and courage.
Power, wisdom. I think wisdom would be knowledge. Who's wisdom? It's
Zelda.
Yeah.
Link is courage. It's the primary trait that they view themselves as.
Yeah, they're not limited to just the one. Because, and this is interesting because I just read this on the wiki a little bit ago.
You have to physically take them from the other people. Once you touch the Triforce, it separates into three, and what you most align yourself with becomes a part of you. But you are now a chosen of three to finally form the Triforce. But it essentially is supposed to turn into a battle royale the way they originally made it sound.
That's the thing.
Doesn't Zelda have all three, though, right now?
That is another theory.
Okay.
But Zeltic or somebody already did like a 30-minute video on that. But yeah, the theory is that she has had the entire Triforce for up until her sealing power awakened in Breath of the Wild 100 years prior.
Okay.
Where was I going? But the Triforce, yes, it absolutely can be wielded by one person. They just have to have all three
Physical pieces.
Okay.
No. Well, also yes. But the three power, wisdom, and courage balanced inside them.
Okay.
They have to be all three in order to fully use the Triforce. Like, not even just make a wish on it, but just keep it and use it.
Yeah, because we kind of saw that with Wind Waker, because Ganondorf tried to steal it, couldn't, and so he's just like, fuck it, I'll just keep you guys together and hold you guys together and put our hands together to do this instead.
Yeah. Like, if all three of the wielders are there, yeah, you can do it.
Like,
but
okay, so that's actually a theory I wanted to point out while we're talking about the Triforce. If you personally were to touch the Triforce, what in your mind which Triforce would you have of the three? Power, wisdom, or courage?
Neither.
You don't think you'd have any of them?
No, not at all. I'm not courageous. I'm not wisdom, and I'm not power seeking. I don't think I'd have any of the three.
You're gonna get one of the three.
Oh no, I don't think. No,
Yeah, you would.
no, because
Like
even
if you were guaranteed to get one of the three, no matter what.
probably wisdom at that point. I'm more of the let's sit, talk, and kind of settle stuff out and be smart about this, other than being like, fuck it all with power.
Yeah.
Also, that kind of reminds me of the.
Honestly, I see wisdom more for you as well, Steven.
I would say wisdom as well.
Yeah.
For me, no. And it's definitely not courage. I do see myself as somebody who's a little bit more powerful than your average person.
Of course, a fucking power user would say that.
I'm just saying, okay, I do have some pretty aggressive traits. I think we can all agree on that. Like, sometimes it can get bad, and I know that, and I try to check myself. I get it. I do have a little bit of wisdom in there. But for sure, if I was to touch the Triforce right now, power would be what stuck with me.
Yeah, I
I can see that.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's one of my theories. Is I just thought it was weird when I first saw the red hair, like the long flowing red hair for the hero. I was like, that's a Ganondorf
No, it
trait.
makes sense. But there is one thing I wanted to point out while you were talking about it. I just wanted to let you finish. Much like certain works in today's era, things are... There's a saying, history is written by the victor. All I'm saying is that we don't know who really made that tapestry. We don't know exactly what was going through their mind, like what exactly they remember. Were they there? How this wasn't exactly a photograph taken. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, certain details can in courts. Witness testimony is one of the most unreliable pieces of evidence you can ever put out. That's why so many court cases are thrown out, because of a lack of physical evidence, because all they have is hearsay. That's why so many cases of aggression that get thrown out, or like internet bullying and stuff like that, things that it doesn't really hurt. It's just words. But words can hurt in a different way. But our justice system doesn't allow for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, it could very well just be an eyewitness problem. But at the same time, his hair is red and flowing. Like, it was designed like that. Like, somebody put time to, like, oh, yeah, he had this fucking magnificent red hair. Link's hair color is the same as Zelda's, but they made Zelda's blonde on the tapestry.
Yeah, and she was actually, if you notice on the tapestry, she's darker in complexion too, which is weird because that also goes in with the final trailer where we see someone that's a darker complexion that is wearing and has the same everything that Zelda has on.
Yeah.
So it could be that 10,000 years ago story,
or that, or like it's like the 10,000 years ago. It's like. Another theory that I'm seeing floating around is it's everyone's awakening their primal form. So like, Ganondorf's channeling Demise, which is why he looks like Demise. Zelda looks like Hylia. That's probably what Hylia looks, because she's channeling like the goddess. We've never seen a primal Link.
Yeah.
We don't know what
fierce deity.
I mean, we know what the hero of the legend Link looks like, because that's Skyward Sword Link. But before then, there was still another hero. We don't know. There's still so much. There's always, no matter if they try to say this is going to be the very beginning of the timeline, or this could be the very ending of the timeline, there could still be heroes after, and there could still be stuff before that.
Because it's their timeline.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the world's timeline.
Well, even then, when you look at it, like Skyward Sword, there's a whole war before that. We could do that. We could go back to when we could go back as far back as when Hylia was like, let's float the city because it's too bad down here. Let's seal up Demise. Like, there's still a whole untapped potential there.
I would love to see the Hyrulean Civil War.
Oh yeah,
That would be amazing.
Yep.
You mean the very one that drove Link's mother from the kingdom of Hyrule to the Lost Woods?
Yep.
That made him an orphan child who lived among the Kokiri.
Yeah.
The perpetual children
Hell,
of the woods.
give us what happened after Majora's Mask. They could. I saw so many people be like, because one of the leading factors of the cycle timeline, or people saying this is like going to be the link of a cycle, is people are like, oh well, it's a cycle. They fixed the storyline. Like, you can't tell stories after before that. It's like, yes, you can. Wind Waker.
I mean, they've already shown that tens of thousands of years can pass between iterations of Link's, Ganon, Zelda's.
Yeah, this time Breath of the Wild timeline really, literally is all three timelines so far in the future. They all combined back into the original one.
Yeah, Nintendo
What happened
has
in
even
those?
been like,
Hell, give us
Kind
the
of saying
10,000. Give us the 10,000 to go war. Give us a fucking hero Ganondorf. So cool. They could still do a lot more, even if they wrap this up in like this weird circle cycle.
yeah. And then, there's even whatever's at the end. They could do shit in New Hyrule if they really wanted to, from Spirit Tracks.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's untold centuries.
Well, not to
millennium
mention
between
the,
Breath of the Wild and everything else.
They called one of the later kingdom Warriors of Hyrule. One of those, the later one, had something to do with multiverse, and I heard something about that being
that's a thing
canon.
now, too.
So, a multiverse of Zelda.
No, that's not canon.
thought that was.
I forgot what game that was. Hyrule Warriors.
Yes.
Age of Calamity.
Yes, but the second one they said was canon.
No.
They said the first one wasn't.
None of the Hyrule Warriors have been. Well, there's only been one Hyrule Warrior, and
I've
there's
seen
the
something
Age
from
of Calamity.
Nintendo that said it was being considered canon.
The Age of Calamity is canon, but also not canon, but also canon. It's weird.
It's not canon because it's a multiverse thing.
Yeah, but Hyrule Warriors is definitely not canon. But it's weird. But anyways, that's my theory, the Ganondorf theory. Steven, have you picked the theory time yet?
Yeah. Let's talk about the Skylands.
Yes. Okay, let's get on to that.
Where do they come from?
Where do they go?
Where do you think they come from?
Where do they come
Cotton Eye
from? Skyland Joe.
Joe?
Oh, no.
Skyland Joe.
So at first, I originally thought.
Okay, first off, Jesus Christ, you stop it.
No. Make me.
I originally thought they came from below, like they came from the ground up. But seeing all the trailers, there's not holes in the ground.
That would be
but,
your first thought. Yep.
Yeah, and even in the final trailer, we see rising from below Earth, rising up through the Gerudo Desert, which people are saying that's the Arbor's grounds. Be cool. But some people are saying it's Sky Island falling down, like it's pieces of Sky Island, or like above the clouds, Sky Island from Skyward Sword coming down.
Skyloft.
So yeah.
That is my theory. Is that is Skyloft. Because we don't really know what happened to them after Skyward Sword, but in Twilight Princess you go to the sky and what do you find? You find the Uku.
Shit,
Oh,
that's
okay.
right.
Human-headed chickens.
That's right. Yeah.
My theory is
And they
that
said they used to be able to fly, and they could fly in Skyward Sword using the birds.
my theory is that the Skyloftians got a little too handsy with the birds.
Giggity.
Made some offspring, created both the Uku and the Rita.
Hylians and chickens, bro. I don't know what it is, but
They love those cuckoos.
fucking chicken fuckers, man. I don't know.
Well, I mean, every time you cut a cuckoo and get it horny, a gaggle of cuckoo come after you and kill you.
Yep.
Because they wanted the same thing. I mean,
All right. Anyways.
Just get a cuckoo bukkake.
there's my theory. I'm just kidding.
God. A cuckoo.
Cuckoo. Cuckolding cuckoo.
Kukaki. I think that's our best one yet. So,
Wow, the shit we come up with.
I do want to say I don't want this to strictly be a Zelda theory. So I've talked with you about this a little bit before, and I mentioned it just a little bit to you.
Before you continue, that's a whole other fucking video.
Oh, come on.
That's a whole other fucking
You haven't
video.
let me
Just
finish my
specifically
theory
be-
yet.
Yeah, this is Zelda theory, bro. It's titled Zelda theory right up there. This is Zelda theory, bro. We can get to the SEC or SCP or
SCU.
No.
CPU
that's gonna be a
or
whole video.
GPU or whatever you want to call it.
It
We
is
can get
the
into that next one.
SCU, sir.
SCU. Sorry, we can get into the shonen style later. This is Zelda, but I will gladly bring that. I will gladly shut this shit down after theory time and then start another one right back up because we got some shit to talk about with that one for sure.
I'm not even done with my theory yet.
Yeah,
Please
theory time.
continue.
But so, Skyloftians and the what were the birds called?
Oh, cool.
No, the Loftwings.
Oh, the
From
birds
Skyward
from
Sword.
yeah, Loftwings.
Fucked a Loftwing. Some
Made the
sort of weird
Rito.
shit. Eventually they turned into the Uku and the Rito. The Rito went down to Hyrule, and the Uku stayed in the sky. That's why the Rito showed up, even if this is in a timeline that wasn't after Wind Waker.
Yeah, because originally the Rito was supposed to be offspring, like the legacy
they-
of Zoro.
Yeah, they were.
Or Zoro's.
Okay, who's talking about One Piece now?
Which
But yeah, the Zoro turned into the Rito in that timeline,
always struck me as odd. Is how is
Yeah.
a timeline of
Fish
birds
gonna turn
gonna
into a bird.
right? And it doesn't make any sense. The
No.
dragon's involved somehow. He gives them feathers; they get wings. But in the other two timelines, the Fallen and the Child timeline, where did the Rito come from? Hyrule doesn't get flooded, presumably.
Yeah, that's true.
They come from the sky.
Yeah.
And then, eventually, the Uku die off or whatever. And then the Zonai, they need a place to run off to. They look up. They find Skyloft. They bring it down, and then they get on it, and then they go right back up into the sky, and that's where they all went. And
So
then they probably died off.
so with that said, you brought up the secret word. You brought up the Z word. Quick theory. What do you think the Zonai really are?
That's an excellent question. They're a separate race, for sure. Like, I'm pretty sure those two figures that we saw in the trailer are both Zonai.
The Zelda
All the technology is Zonai. We had references to the Zonai in Breath of the Wild. They were a whole separate race, civilization, somewhere.
So
Do you think-
basically, the Dwemer of.
I was just about to say Dwemer. Yeah,
At least we're on the same page.
yeah.
So do
Yeah,
you think,
exactly.
Do you think they're like?
And then I think they were erased from history.
Yep.
I am pretty damn sure they had some involvement 10,000 years ago.
Oh, who's talking about One Piece now? Shoes on the other foot now, huh?
I mean, that would make sense for the Guardians and how they were made, like the giant mech Guardians.
Well, the Guardians were made from Chica.
Sheikah technology.
Yeah.
But I
But
can
I'm
see
sure
they
they
could've-
helped.
they could
could've-
also have been prior to 10,000 years ago, and the Sheikah found their technology or some remnants of it.
Oh, you
and they
mean
tried to
kind of like how the
recreate it.
Sith were an actual race, and then people took that ideology, and then they became the Sith Lords?
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
See, I think of it as like if Egypt was a very technologically advanced civilization, we can get onto that one later, but
You know how
it's
they
like-
built the
it's like-
pyramids.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say
like they're completely gone, right? But if they left some stuff behind that we're like, oh, this is new, let's make our own, let's piggyback our tech, let's try to reverse engineer their tech. So I think the Sheikah tech is reverse engineered Zonai tech.
that. Yeah,
That would make
absolutely.
sense.
Yeah.
Because it is slightly more primitive than Zonai tech from what we've seen.
Yep.
But
And Zonai
it
hasn't
seems to
been
run off a
known.
different power source.
That true, and Zonai hasn't been known to be corruptible, while Sheikahs have been.
True. Yeah, no, none of the constructs that we've seen so far have been corrupted,
Yeah.
seemingly.
They just like to fight choo-choos.
Yeah.
That's
choo-choos, chop trees,
Yep.
chop links. Or try to.
Good old link breaker. But so yeah, that's been theory time with Zelda. I can't wait. I can't wait for it.
I'm shitting myself every day.
I gotta show
Just
this
in
off again.
preparation.
Just gotta show this off again. Just look at that beautiful
Oh, it's so cool.
breaking, melting. Stupid theory time. What the fuck do you think happened to the sword? And do you think we're gonna repair it?
That's the thing I cannot figure out. Because I would presume it's when that ledge underground that Link and Zelda find Ganon's mummy. Like the ledge breaks, Zelda falls, Link reaches out, his arm is a bit busted up.
Because he tried to take on the... Yeah.
Yeah, like he probably had the Master Sword in his hand.
It broke
Malice
and then...
just gets all over it, gets his arm, gets the Master Sword, melts it.
Because I had that...
But I don't know when in the game we're supposed to get the Master Sword. Because in the trailer, there was a scene of Link pulling the Master Sword out of the pedestal in the...
And of
Lost
Zelda
Forest.
putting it back in the pedestal, too.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I think that was it.
A Zelda putting
The
it
Master
back
Sword
in the-
back in the pedestal.
You know what that kind of gives me vibes of?
So-
Ocarina of Time travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm highly
Like
theorizing
hardcore.
that there's going to be time travel involved in this game.
The
Yeah,
way
'cause
you
there
just
is that
said
one
that,
scene.
like, that's a fucking theory in and of itself.
Yep.
Like, not many games ever since Chrono Trigger, God bless, really mess with time travel all that much.
Yeah, there was a theory. There is a theory of time travel because there's one scene in the final trailer where Link is entering a brand new looking,
And would also
pristine
make sense why
Castle.
Tears of the Kingdom would be the end of the cycle
Yes.
and the restart of the entire cycle, because it's the same people that ended the cycle that also start the cycle by traveling through time.
Yeah.
There's a theory for you.
If they bring back, okay, the only way I could say it, this goes full circle. I need to take a look at them again. Maybe show a picture of them on the field, but or on the scene or on the screen. But those little ancient robot fuckers from Skyward Sword. Because if I'm remembering it right, they kind of look Zonai-ish.
They do. They are
So-
very, very similar to the constructs.
Yeah.
So,
But that brings another thing into question,
Speaking of
because those were created by the
constructs.
Dragon Linnea.
Were they created by the dragons?
That's implied. I can't remember off the top of my head if he legitimately said, yeah, I made those guys. But I think he did. I would have to look at it again, but
Yeah.
pretty sure.
speaking
But
of constructs,
The Zonai could have run off of that technology
Yeah. Who knows?
and made their own stuff.
Who knows? Go ahead, Mike.
one thing comes to mind every time I think constructs is something in every Zelda game ever. Those goddamn I-beams. You know what I'm talking about?
BMOs?
Yes. Was that Zonai technology? Was that Sheikah technology?
God, that's true. There's always been this mechanical magic around.
Yeah.
Every Zelda game I could think of has some variety of this.
Yeah.
Waker,
And one of my
Skyward Sword.
favorite alternate
Twilight Princess.
constructs actually came from one of the most memorable games to me, which was Twilight Princess. Do you recall when you entered the Forbidden Forest and when you first found the Temple of Time? Those constructs you dealt with that had to do with movement to solve the puzzle, but those weren't the only constructs in that entire temple. What kind of technology were those exactly? What exactly was the Temple of
That
Time?
is an excellent question.
Well-
Because that leads us into things built by the gods. Because I would assume the Temple of Time dungeon was built by the gods.
Yep.
Which was also...
Because
who
it had
also
completely
built,
different architecture from literally everything except one place, in my opinion, which was the Sky Temple, which was the home of the Woku. It had a similar, like, if you look closely at them from a distance, you can see similar design constructs throughout, and you even see the Woku in the Temple of Time when you first get there and when you leave. See what I'm saying?
I think so.
So, who really built it? Could it have been the Skyloptians who built the Temple of Time before they went up? And does that mean that they used Zonai technology, or were the Sheikah around at that point?
Well, shit. In that case, if we're gonna bring up just tech throughout all of Zelda, my favorite boss ever in all of Zelda, Wind Waker, the statue hands that deems you worthy.
Yeah, in the Temple of the Gods.
Yeah. Yep.
Godan.
Yep.
It just furthers my point. Because when you look at the timeline, especially, because if Wind Waker was like, it got flooded after thousands of years of calamity and all that, so I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, there's
So
gonna-
where did this tech start? Like, who did it? Was it the Zonai?
Well, shit. This tech has even been around before Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
because it was back in the past of Cyrus
So,
Lord.
like I said,
yeah.
when,
did they do it before Skyloft became a thing? Before
We don't
Highly
know.
lifted them up?
Yeah, no.
Because that would make sense to me.
Well, yeah.
Especially when you look at...
Yeah, 'cause you
especially
have
when
to
look at
rewind
Twilight
time.
Princesses, because that is actually a game where you see big gaps in the ground in certain places. Some of them are just plain chasms, sure, but especially with the way the Twilight portals work, it would make because they take up matter.
Yeah.
It would totally make sense.
Now, before our cameras die, because mine's dying and
That's fair.
yours, I know, is dying. To leave off on this, there's a small part of the final trailer where Minda's theme plays.
Minna? Really?
Minda's, yes.
So Twilight
Yep.
people. Ooh.
I've gotta show it to you.
Yes, please.
But they made it very bombastic.
Bombastic.
But there's like 4 or 5 notes of Minda's theme played from Minda's theme that
Everyone should know.
yeah. And if
they
you
play
look at
Twilight
them,
Princess enough.
and if you look at them, their symbols and their square, it's very Zonai-esque. So
Yeah. That,
So what, do you think that the Zonai are Midna's people?
and also if that
Because
one
they
dude,
were banished by the gods for messing with things that were beyond their control.
fuck yeah, because
Because they made the few shadows.
and that fused shadow looks Zonai-esque. Also, too, this is funny, stupid, haha. But
Interesting.
the 2 characters we got to saw that are supposedly Zonais have kind of features of the Shadow people, like of the Twilight people. So it's
So what, that bluish skin, blackish around,
Gray-
with the fucking
yeah.
fangs for teeth with red eyes.
I don't want to say red eyes,
But kind of a squashed face.
need
too,
to go
if you
back
really
and
think about it.
rewatch. We're gonna watch the trailer after this because there's so much shit that I just need to pick apart.
The Twilight were all kinds of shapes too.
Yeah, so that's just stuff to leave off with.
Well, I figured that was because they were so
they do
dysmorphed by being in the Twilight Realm rather than anything else. Because when they came out, like Zant and Midna both, their forms changed drastically compared to everyone else who was still in the Twilight Realm. I think it's because of the interaction with the Realm of the Light that changed their form so drastically and gave them a much more solid look.
And I kind
Or
of
they
like,
just got protagonist energy.
and the way they
picking
kind of
out-
did
No longer am I a side character.
It's like picking a stand user out of a crowd.
the way they looked like in the real world is kind of how I see these people in the new trailer look in the real world. So
I could see that.
we'll see how it goes. We'll watch it here in a moment. But
Well, even Midna had like 2 completely separate forms in
Yeah.
the Light Realm because she had her imprisoned form that was using the few shadows, and then she had her real form, her regal
yeah, her
form.
real form is what it casts similar.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a direct
Yeah, like
lineage, but
the clothing
there's some
too,
similarities. Yeah,
of that tall freak,
yeah.
whoever that is,
Zant.
or in the trailer,
Oh yeah,
tall
yeah.
guy like puts his hand on Zelda's shoulder.
Shit, yeah. I even talked about that. That's
Like that.
Oh.
There's
that
so
clothing
much
is fairly reminiscent.
I'm
of
just saying because
Twilight.
that to me that makes sense. That's all I'm saying.
you know what? Fuck it. Let's quit this and go watch the trailer real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
But yeah, so that's Zelda Theory, and we'll be back for some more stuff. So be on the lookout for some more couch tots, possibly.
Yeah, the channel's not dead. Surprise.
Yeah, not dead.
Surprise.
It's the revival. It only took us 100 months. This has been
Mike,
and
Steven.
Ganondorf signing out. No,
shut the
Tyler.
hell up.
And I'm sorry, I had
Matt
to do that.
Mercer.
Jesus Christ! I didn't know I had a celebrity in my house.
All the evil. Let me
Where's
do my
the dapper saint?
Let me do my
guest star
best
next time.
what's Gandorf's lines? What are some of the Gandorf's lines?
Oh God!
I'll just wing it. Here's my best channeling Wind Waker Gandorf. You think that you have the power from that sword when you have nothing. You don't even have it fucking done yet. You still have to figure out 2 more fucking dungeons. Don't come at me with bullshit.
You have to go follow a bunch of children around.
Don't come at me with this bullshit.
Don't forget the escort quests.
And 1,000 more songs you have to learn. I'm invincible. But
And you must find all the seeds if you wish to have any hope of besting me.
Yeah, you just kind of sound like an evil king. Regis Philbin. I don't know the king's
Regis
name.
Philbin.
The king's name is now Regis Philbin. I don't fucking know.
Daphnis Nahant's Hyrule? No,
Yes.
it's Wind Waker.
I don't know. That's who. It's whatever. Anyways, yeah.
Rome.
My shit's
Apparently,
dead.
I'm evil Regis Philbin. Okay,
Yep.
that
Rome is what you were looking for.
I was going for like a dark, like Hulk Hogan, possibly Ganondorf, but apparently I'm evil Regis Philbin.
Yep.
Good night, everybody.
Yep, my shit's out. Okay, yep, let's just call all that fucking shit out. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
What the hell, Ty? Evil Regis Philbin.